Hey! It is 45 degrees Fahrenheit, which from the looks of the circle on my porch is about 9 Celsius for my out-of-towners. All yins Canucks. So, I wanted to show you around because things are just starting to melt. It's been busy because I don't have a defroster for the aviary yet. So that's been pretty dang busy. But the birds are all doing okay. I just have to keep putting hot water in bins for them. This is the red twig dogwood that I grew from seed. It's a native. These are the Katanning elderberries. This is all the same plant. Oh, sorry, this is an ash tree. That's all that's left of this one elderberry. It's doing okay. It's actually coming out the other side of the fence, but that one needs a lot more water. I'm working on connecting a pond overflow to a trench that's under wood chips here to bring them more water. They'll both be much happier that way. But especially this one will be much happier. There's a really deep pit of wood chips right here, so this one will get most of the water. Can you believe it's so much above freezing and the river's still just completely ice? We hit -5 just a couple days ago, but the wind chill was -35, they said. That's unusual for this area. If you're from North Dakota, you'll probably think I'm silly for even feeling like that's a lot, but you know, for here, that's very unusual to have a wind chill that low. They always put out safety warnings. Please don't mind the mess on my porch, but I want to show you. So, -5 is -20. Yeah. So, I'll keep doing head counts on the burbs. Oh, yell at me if you must, but I did give them a little heater on the -5 day, and now I want it to be proper warm before I turn it off so their little internal systems don't get all angry. But you can see, I think, 4 birds down the corridor there. Yeah. There's a total of 10 in here hiding about. The water's starting to thaw. There's Calico, Goldie, and I don't know, I guess the boys are underneath the cooler. Starting to get spring plant catalogs. Not sure if I should this year or not, honestly. Because I have so many things I need to move. It might be better if I don't add more things, but on the other hand, I really want things all the time. I always do. I want to put my thornless raspberries in here. They are currently underneath a fence tunnel on the retainer wall, which you can see past. There you go. You can see past the aviary that there's a retainer wall there. So I really want to do that because they get eaten by the deer really bad, and I think this extra fence protection will really help to have the fence go much higher, because they always get eaten right before I get my raspberries, and they would be quite prolific. That's a dwarf raspberry. There's blackberries on the trellis back there. I should bring many of these in that are potted here. These are yucca, little potted yuccas above ground right now. And there's a couple black locusts that I think had partially died before I brought the rest of the black locusts in. I do have a growing table set up in the basement now. I think I put a little tiny video up on that. Nothing's been very long in a while. Not since August. I haven't had much video activity. Sorry about that. I think this is still holding up. My little transplanted hyperdwarf of a sumac tree that's a native variety that I think is at risk because it's alongside the highway. I've never seen this exact growth pattern, and I wanted to save those genetics. I'm curious as to whether the couple of little trees that came up will survive the winter. I planted some Kentucky coffee bean. I also don't know how well they'll transplant, but there's plenty seeds, so we'll be okay. What I've noticed about the Kentucky coffee bean is that the beans are still in the trees. I thought they'd drop eventually. I'm sure they will eventually, but like when? And I want to go get them, but I'm hoping that they don't get mown down by little critters here. And then the rest of this row is pretty much annuals. The asparagus I leave up through the winter because it helps insulate the roots, I've heard, and it does do better when I leave its fronds up until late spring. Somebody's shoveling, that's what the sound is. So I got blackberries there that seem to be having a long fruiting pattern, and then beyond that I have a whole bunch of black cap raspberries, natives rescued from Uncle Rob, but that I don't have anywhere really to put, so I'm not sure what to do about that. I'm thinking to put I don't know, maybe at the base of this would be a good place. That I can't find the right place for that poor little Pixwell gooseberry that I have up there. It's right here. Can't find the right place for it. And I never did get around to moving down the street elderberry. The one that was growing around the clear-cut area in the reservoir that was only like inches tall because they keep mowing it down. This friend I want to put there, but I haven't done it. Oh, it's someone's moving rocks with a hoe is what the sound is, actually. I stand corrected. That stick by the Black Lives Matter sign is actually a mimosa tree, which I didn't expect to have. And then you see the bigger sticks here. Those are that native hibiscus, probably mochiatos, that I started from seed from up at Ohio Pal Seeds. Looks like the buns have come through, and by buns I mean bunnies, have come through and eaten the greens off the tops of the onions, but the onions are still doing okay. They must have been very hungry. The snake root is doing excellent at protecting this plum tree. However, the plum tree seems to have bacterial canker, and so it might not be very long for this world. I'm having the hardest time with stone fruit over the last few years. Like, whoa. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. So, alas, I guess. I don't know. Oh yeah, look at all the bunny prints in the snow. And that's why aren't they sleeping? It was -5. They should be hibernating. They don't seem to do that when they're posta. Yeah. So I don't know how much more there is to show that isn't just so completely dormant that I can't really show it. Losing my balance. Persimmon's doing great. I still have the hose from the rain barrel run right up to it because it, like the elderberries, wants marsh, and it won't come out of dormancy and would eventually die if I didn't give it like a marshland. And on this slope like this, that's kind of hard to accomplish, but I figured out how to do it because this is really where I want it, but sometimes you got to get creative to get what you want, you know. I think you can tell from the front yard that I started reducing. Oof, my balance is difficult here. Oh yeah, this is the native magnolia. Look, it's evergreen. Isn't that cool? I did a video on the magnolias. I don't know why that's so bumpy. Something looks like it went and dug in my... I just put these down before the snow started, all this thicker wood chips right here. And I also just redid the bird's cage before it froze, and everything's just poop everywhere, huh, guys? So what I was starting to say before was that I have been taking out a lot of my pot and pot nursery up here. So you can probably tell that there's a good few less potted plants right here. It's because I want to have a social area again. That's why. I still want to have the drainage come through in here and have that be almost basically a bog, but I want this to be a social area. Now, of course, it'll be awkward because there's still so many daffodils where the pots were. And so hopefully I'll slowly be able to give away daffodils. Keep track of where I dig them back at. But yeah, I've put the nursery dreams on hold, basically. I've got a few things growing, but I need to rehome a bunch of stuff because it's just the advertising and the networking and the stuff involved wasn't a good enough. Like, it was too much work. The trade-off wasn't sufficient to make up for it. There is, of course, still a stairwell over there made out of tires. But I just don't feel like it right now. So this icy river that really ought to thaw within the next couple days, because it's not going to go below freezing according to the forecast for at least an entire 10-day forecast. Like, I don't see even the night times going below freezing for the foreseeable. So I don't know, I just thought this was super super interesting because things are like so warm but also still so frozen. So interesting to me. So I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for visiting the ice-encrusted cliffside. And this has been permaculture. Take care. Bye.